Hi everyone, Michelle Gibson with Remax First, Remax First 2, and Remax Tri-County here, sitting with our top listing agents, one from each location. Let them introduce themselves.
I'm Karen Scarpa. I'm with Remax First Realty. I've been selling real estate in the Central Jersey area for over 32 years. As we spoke before, Michelle, I do have a family, so trying to juggle everything now. I thought my life would be easier at this point, but it's gotten harder. The business has gotten harder, plus my ability to do stuff at home has even gotten harder. So that's a little bit about me.
Family obligation.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing.
Okay. So my name is Darrell Bailey. I'm from the Cranford office. Been in real estate since the age of 19. So father of three, have a wonderful wife, Trisha. She keeps me in order and gives me perspective. And I enjoy, this is a way of life for me.
It's wonderful. Thanks for sharing.
I'm Vanessa Stefanix from the Remax Tri-County office. I've been in real estate 17 years. I started because my mom was a realtor. I actually got my license in college and did nothing with it. And then once I went into the corporate America, and I just kept it active every year. And then I finally decided, it's time to do something with it after I had my first son. So I have two sons. I'm married 22 years. Lifelong Mercer County resident, and I love real estate. It's really fun. There's been ups and downs over the years, but I have a supportive family, like we were saying, and that really helps.
What do you do in your spare time?
In my spare time, okay, we love to travel. That's like number one. So I splurge on travel. I also play on an adult beach volleyball league.
I love it. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not the best player, but I get by. My husband and I do that, and it's a fun thing to do together. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. So thanks for taking the time out of your business. I know this has been a rough couple of years.
Yeah.
What are you experiencing right now currently in the market?
Just the emotional roller coaster of being a buyer's agent and not getting, actually they're not winning bids, and being a listing agent on the listing side, the barrage of calls from agents, right? Why didn't I get it? And, so that, I think that takes up a lot of time. You're spending a lot of time with we put together an Excel spreadsheet on offers just so we can sit and look at them all at once. Yeah. So I think that's the frustration in this market. It's the housing inventory is so low.
Yeah. Yeah. How many listings do you usually carry?
Well, in this market, because they're going so fast, I really only have about 5 at this time. There's a time when I had 20, 25, but I'm finding that they're turning over so fast. So it's
good and bad.
It's good and bad, right?
Pluses and minuses.
Yeah.
Darrell, how about you?
Well, this has been the best time of my entire life. So I prepared for this.
Yeah.
The last real estate cycle, took me out completely. I wasn't prepared. I went a whole rush of selling all my properties 20 at a time, and it caused so much disarray in my life that I knew that this time around when it was coming, which I knew it was coming, but I knew that it may happen a different way. Mm-hmm. But in what I do, because I mainly focus on distressed assets, I love any form of movement in the market, whether it's up or it's down. So what I had to do is prepare for that growth. Consistency, just making sure you're there for your clients. How's the family? So it was really consistency. At the moment, I've got 33 listings I'm holding at the moment. I've got 15 on the contract at the moment. And now the interest rates have taken a little bit of a toll. Mm-hmm. That's another spurge that I'm preparing for right now.
Terrific.
And the individuals that are consistent and really go back to old school tactics, those are the people that are going to win.
I agree. Yeah.
I usually carry anywhere between 20 and 30 listings at a time, and around 20 under contract, because people are so desperate today to get their hands on a house, especially with the interest rates going up. So I do very similar to what Vanessa and Darrell do. I'm hands-on. This market is an emotional roller coaster because buyers are putting multiple offers in on different houses. Your seller will accept one. 2 days later, the deal comes back. You have to go back to buyer number two. I'm trying to keep my backups in my back pocket so this way we can, we can go to buyer number two, buyer number three. Sometimes I've gone down as far as buyer number 6 or 7.
Wow,
Okay,
wow.
it's crazy. And I'm finding with my listings now, I'm still getting 40 to 50 showings, but I'm getting 7 to 10 contracts now. I'm not getting 20
Agreed.
to 25.
Right.
Okay, and a little bit more flexibility. Still waived appraisals, home inspections, major structural, but I'm also getting contracts now without the waived appraisals. And what we found was the listings that we put out there, the adjusted price was for people who could go above that price. If we put them out where people could actually buy them, we weren't getting as many offers. We would drop the price down, people expecting to have to overpay would then bring in offers that went above our original
Right.
asking price.
They say that often. They say that pricing is just a marketing strategy.
Right.
And the way that you really appeal to the 90% of buyers out there is to price it just below the market because it creates
Right.
a sense of urgency
Yeah.
that pushes them. They don't want to miss out.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
who doesn't want to take
Right.
advantage of a
Fear
sale?
of loss. Right.
Yeah,
Right.
FOMO. So, Karen, starting with you, how are you leveraging the listings when you're getting them? You have such a short period of time right now to do that. How are you guys doing it?
Almost all of them are coming soon listings, okay? I will not list a house without my professional photography, my videos. I mean, everything has to be done before the listing goes live. I will not list it with a coming soon with just the front of the house picture, okay? Obviously, it goes out to all the websites. We have our own website, and we have like a program where we have saved in our computer all the buyers in that certain price range. So we'll do a blast email to all of them. I have sold probably this year more of my own listings than I've sold in the past. I do have somebody who helps with the internet marketing, with the Facebook and the Instagram and all of that stuff. So pretty much by the time we're ready to go on Saturday, we already have quite a few showings already lined up by that time.
Are those showings bringing listings?
Yes. Well, again, I'm selling in my area for so many years. A lot of people know my name. So once I get a listing, we will send the postcards out to the neighborhood. I still do the same exact thing I did before the market was moved. Our postcards are probably, we say it all the time, it seems like it's an antiquated way of doing things, but they work, okay?
Yeah.
And I used to walk the neighborhood knocking on doors and things like that. Got chased by dogs. That was like the end of that. But sometimes if I see a house that I know was listed before and they didn't sell, sometimes I will stop by and drop something off or whatever. But that's more of a rarity. More of it is just one-on-one phone calls. And I have a motto, 5 a day. If you reach out to 5 people a day, that will continue, whether it's to tell them about a listing, tell them about what's going on in the neighborhood. If you see something on Facebook or Instagram that's happening in their life, you can always call and say, hey, I saw your son is going to such and such a school. It's a great school. My daughter went there. So sometimes you can pick and choose how you're going to reach out to them. It isn't always about real estate. It's just about keeping in touch.
I love that. I love that. Darrell, how are you leveraging all of your listings right now?
So my job as a listing agent is to make sure I'm in communication with you to know that that's what you do. If it's luxury or if it's single family, multi-family. So my philosophy is that it's an 80-20 rule. Out of the 20% of agents that are doing most of the business in my market is usually around about 7 to 15% that are doing the bulk of the business. So I tend to keep those relationships. I look for new emerging agents, those ones that are hungry and trying to put themselves out, and keep on fostering that relationship. So when I've got the listing agreement nearly signed, I'm reaching out to say, hey guys, this is what I'm working on. I'm building that communication. Leveraging my listings, I run a virtual call center operation. So I've done that since the age of 24, whereby I have individuals that are basically calling to say, hi, this is Darrell Bailey, can we get on the phone? hi, this is Darrell Bailey, can we arrange a time to speak? No real estate conversation, nothing about properties, it's literally a connection. So once I've got the connection set up, I want to build that relationship with you. And a lot of times when we're speaking to, whether it's the listing agent or if it's the seller, it's the relationship, how the kids doing. Okay, what's the plan? What we're doing for holidays.
Right.
And then eventually we get to this real estate stuff like, yeah, okay, Darrell, and I'm like, well, cool, what do you want me to sell it for? So it's really going back to old school techniques in regards to, I door knock every house that I go and do an appointment. So I'm a guy that I get there early, and while I'm looking around and I drive around, I take pictures of the properties, I skip trace everyone, I knock on the doors, and literally I want people to know that I've been on your street. My business card is there. I've taken the time to be there. And those are the things that if you're doing that 3 and 6 months ahead, it comes back in your pipeline.
Right.
So it's really being, like I said, consistent, systematic, and then also understanding that if you are running any type of business right now, you're in a technology business. Like for yourself, you've hired someone that you have to. It's not a situation of let's figure it out.
Right.
So if the consumer sees that you are not a technology person, or you cannot interact with them or meet them at the right level, because I've got clients where they're like, hey, hit me up on Instagram. I'm like, what? Can we send it like email? They're like, no emails, hit me up on Instagram.
DM me.
DM me. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, I don't know about Snapchat, but I have to find people that do know.
Right.
So what it is now is that my philosophy is that we're in a technology business now, and you have to meet people where they are. And if you're not willing to see that adaptation or integrate with it or take advantage of it, some of the people are going to get left behind. Because even my grandmother or my mother, they're on technology. Like, yeah, let's do a Zoom call. And I'm like, okay. Like,
I know.
Where did that come from, Mom? Like, I could just get you to text. So I have to learn how to meet people where they are.
Absolutely.
And that's how I'm leveraging.
How about you, Vanessa?
Well, I think what Karen said and what Darrell said is a combination of what I do too. And it says like, the coming soon, all my listings coming soon. We have a whole marketing package, photographs. I hate when I see a listing coming soon and just the front of the house, like Karen said. I'm like, you can't even get excited about it. Yeah. So, and that's, your reputation. My photographer said to me that he has agents say, just do what you do for Vanessa for me. Because so that leaves an impression, right? So other agents are wanting what I have, right?
Great. Yeah.
So marketing. So, I just think that social media presence is another big thing, making sure it's out there. And also what Darrell said too, the constant contact with people, driving by before, I pretty much grew up around my neighborhood that I foster, but, I would just drive by and see what the house looks like and be prepared for the listing. So that's kind of what I do.
Are you specifically marketing around your listings right now? Is there any circle marketing going on? I mean, you do all of Monroe Care, but Vanessa, when you get a listing, is there a recipe or system that you have to contact those local neighbors?
Right. So I do the postcards. I do that. And I put up signs, directionals, and things like that. And maybe, I'm present at the house. So I just listed something this weekend and I was like, the neighbor kept going, I see you here like constantly. I sent the owners away for the weekend because they were going to have 60 showings, which they had 61. I said, you're going to have 60 showings. They had
get
61.
Out of the house.
Yep, get out of the house. So I was there every day. I was there like making sure that the shoe covers were put away, the house was clean, and I met the neighbors doing that. So that's good. And, a couple people said, oh, when I'm ready to sell, I'll call you. I'm like, okay, great. So the presence, the face, being in front of people.
Yeah, seeing you drive up and down the block.
Right.
It's priceless.
Yes.
Yep. What are you seeing the trends are, Vanessa, Karen, of on the listing side? Has anything changed for what your clients need from a listing perspective? Are the demands different? What are you hearing and seeing?
I mean, I think they still want, they want for their listing the best marketing package and the best, they still want all those things for a listing. They also kind of know what they can get, right, in this market. Yeah. So they're educated. And they, dare I mention the word when they bring up the Zestimate, but they kind of, they know, and they're expected to get a certain price. So I'd be interested to find out as the market the market's going to change, and if it does, how they are going to be. Are they still going to be stuck on that high number?
Of course, yes.
Right.
Because, like you said, the listing in Robbinsville that had 60 showings only had 7 offers.
Right.
And you know what? It's like technology and how it gets adopted. They'll be your first people that realize that the market has shifted.
Right.
Yeah.
And everyone else will be chasing it downhill. So we're going to do a lot of training on that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this estimate, because everybody wants to know when they bring that up at the table. What does a great listing agent say?
Right.
How do you inform your clients of Zillow or combat this estimate?
Well, in my opinion, this estimate has always been way off. Okay, they can't circle in on a certain development. A lot of times it's per the tax record, sometimes it's per the sale, sometimes it's from the MLS. If the towns have gone through a reevaluation, Zillow does not pick that up. So I try and tell all my clients, whether it be a buyer or a seller, please do not pay attention to any of that. And even the listings that are on Zillow, you can't count on them to be available. You need to get the listings from our auto search on MLS, because that's the most current. And a lot of realtors are not changing the listings that are in attorney review or whatever until the end, because of exactly what I talked about before. You have to go down. You have to go down the list. Okay. So as far as I'm concerned, Zillow has never really been anything for me. Most of the people that I go on the listing appointments for I know my market, and I know the tax assessor. I know everything there is to know about it. So when I come in, I have the proof in black and white that what's there is not true to value. Okay.
Yeah.
And I find most of the times with this estimate, it's below what the real market value is.
It's true.
So people are sometimes
Right
really
now.
surprised.
Now,
Even in the past, though.
Yeah.
Even in the past, I think their estimates were off by a few years. So,
Okay. That's good to know. That's exciting. Do you guys have a script that you use, or a line or something, some way to educate the client that you can share back on this estimate?
I don't really have a script on anything. Some people count on scripts. I guess I'm so used to doing the same thing over and over again. I probably do have a script. I don't particularly have like something that I read or whatever. I will look at this estimate, and everyone is individual. So I think you have to address each seller or even the buyers, because sometimes the buyers will come to me and you get the opposite. This estimate is way below what I'm telling them the market price is with the CMA, and they're like, no, Zillow says this. I said, Zillow is not the God. Zillow does not circle into a neighborhood, okay? We are the neighborhood experts. We are the realtors in the area. We know more than they know.
And that's the script.
Yep.
Drop the mic. Darrell, do you have a repetitive statement or conversation you have with your clients in regards to Zillow?
Every day.
Okay. What does it sound like?
So I've held events with Zillow, and they've explained to me all about their calculations, the background. So I point them to the Zillow website, say, please have you taken the time to read their disclaimer? And they're like, what disclaimer? It does disclose that their estimates are off by 10% either way.
Okay.
Are you prepared to lose 10%, Mr. Seller or Mrs. Seller? Oh, okay. Don't push back on it. Yes, we'll take that into consideration, but here I am giving you multiple forms of value in regards to coming to a conclusion of getting the best price for your home. So we could take that into consideration, but what about the other 8 metrics that I'm using to show you that your home is valued at this, and this is what the market is. The other thing that I do, because I learned a lot selling my portfolio and dealing with agents. So I am potentially the seller from hell. So my attitude is that
That's such a funny
Best
saying.
time of his life, and he's the seller from hell. You can't make that up.
if you can't present value at every stage, and I can do it myself, I don't need you. So at each stage of every conversation that I have with you, I have to present value at every occasion. So in regards to Zillow, it's not even a conversation. I said, do you want to follow Zillow or do you want to get the best price? Let's walk through your home now. This is what we need to do. So value in regards to over Zillow. And really, like I said, once you educate your customer in regards to what it is, they're normally like, oh, Darrell, I don't look at Zillow anymore, and because I'm giving more value.
Yeah.
Then I'm also giving them the off-market transactions, so private sales.
Right.
I'm also explaining to them, educating them to say, look, if your neighbor goes through foreclosure, this is what's going to affect your home value. Once you start giving them more, they go, oh, right, well, I don't look at the Zillow anymore.
Once they begin to
realize
understand the
It's
art.
the information.
Yeah.
Yep.
The art of it.
So Zillow helps me tremendously because sometimes the numbers are really low. But what I do, I aim to get my customers the best price based on market. My buyers, or potentially, we're on average 50 to 80,000 over asking. You talked about pricing. In regards to that pricing, fear of loss. If you get a Darrell Bailey listing, there's got to be a fear of loss because I make sure with my open houses and the science of scheduling my appointments, you're not going to turn up and not see 3 people buzzing around my listing.
Right.
So that has a whole science behind it. And
100%.
I've got a system in regards to how to go about doing so because, you have to try and, like I said, make sure you add value at every occasion.
Yeah, absolutely. Vanessa, is there something you do to combat the Zillow conversation?
I basically say, has Zillow been in your house?
That's a line. That's a script.
Has Zillow been in your house? Because they'll say no. Okay, well, I'm here. And I know the neighborhood. I know. So basically, what Karen and Darrell said the same thing, but I always say, have they been in your house? So, and they'll no. I'm like, don't pay attention to it. And like you said, a lot of times the Zillow estimate is low.
Right.
So, that actually helps us because we're saying, no, it's not 650, it's 700,
Right.
And so now we're never looking at Zillow again,
It's really funny.
Right.
Have you ever seen a Zillow's estimate and then you list the house? And my seller will call me a few days later and say, wow, my estimate just went up.
Right.
I say, perfect.
Their algorithms.
Yes.
We control that.
I think it's important that we always, and Darrell hit on this before, educate the consumer as to what Zillow really does.
Right.
For what's their goal? It's not to sell houses, right? It's to sell leads. And I think when you help them understand that, they're much more malleable to work with, especially when the price comes.
Right.
Let's just wrap with the multiple offer management. It's really important because there are other listing agents who don't know how to handle it. They're having a really hard time, like you mentioned, managing the calls. I don't know if you were at the Forest Gate event. I know it's repetitive, but I don't think it's going away anytime soon.
Right.
So if you could share, Vanessa, how you manage your multiple offers.
So Nick, who's on my team, he's better with spreadsheets than I am, I have to admit. So he puts together a spreadsheet, and we go over every offer. We have columns where we say, waiving appraisal, other factors about the inspection, price, of course, money down, and is it a preferred lender that I use, So we kind of go through that. People love that spreadsheet because then they send it to them. They're on it, looking at it while I'm looking at it. And it's like, they really do like that a lot. And then it's not sometimes, it's a lot of a highest and best, but sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's gathering the offer and saying, this is a great one. I'm not going to even push back.
Yeah.
So it just depends. As long as the seller, educate the seller, tell them what you know, do your due diligence on the mortgage company they're using, if there's a mortgage company, because there's a lot of cash offers out there right now.
Yeah.
And then the highs and lows, the best options for them, and then let them make the decision.
Fabulous. Darrell, do you agree?
I agree.
Seller from hell right here.
Yeah.
Tell us what you do.
So I agree with everything that you've said. I track every listing agent from the time you request access to my property. I want to see whether do you follow instructions. At first, I got a lot of pushback. My broker, Olivier, he got all these phone calls. Darrell doesn't pick up the phone. Well, I don't actually work for you. I work for my client. But this is the system that I've told my client that's going to happen. So you are going to use showing time because that's a formal way of doing so. That allows me to see whether you're going to follow instructions in regards to access points. I track every list or every buyer's agent that's requested access on any of my listings for the last 4 years. So when I do get your offer, I scroll through the communication that I've had with you for the last 4 years, which many buyers, I've probably given away the secret, I've not had a good experience in regards to you're sending me text messages, you don't tell me who you are, I don't know who you.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I'm just weird that we're having this conversation.
Yeah,
Yes.
who is this?
And
Who
you
are
feel that you don't need to tell me your name. You don't, on many occasions, tell me what property you're talking about.
Right.
I understand we're all busy, but we're professionals. What I have been able to do over the years, once now they understand that this is not me being difficult, this is about me providing a service to you as a listing agent. And that's what I talk to listing agents about. That's what my recordings say, that I want to be more efficient to you. So I explain to the individuals that are requesting access, this is my process. Once you send through your offer, I send it to my client straight away. I don't even read it because I want to make sure my client gets the offer as soon as possible. By the time they got home from work and whatever, I've probably got to it, but I have no interest of holding offers and seeing what's happening. I don't like to double end deals. So my thing is that it's my client's interest is the best. I don't need to earn more. I want to make sure my client has the best offer. So once you start getting transparent with that in your social media and speaking to your listing agent about your process, then you realize that they go, oh, okay, he's trying to be more fairer. So even people that I know as friends and what have you, you don't get any form of privileges doing business with me. They say to me, Darrell, you change into a different person as soon as we do business, which is true because we're doing business. And I have to be professional. And if you are a friend of mine, I expect you to be even more professional.
Right.
So I've had situations in my own RE/MAX office whereby I've actually rejected offers there.
Sometimes you have to do what you have to do.
Yeah.
Right.
So what it is that my clients come first. That's the point I'm making. So processes, spreadsheet gets shared with my client. They see what's coming in real time. They love that. We use a Google Sheets. Being able to tell them when they're getting their weekly accountability. So mine is Tuesday. We are going to speak on Tuesday about if you want to get into the meat and potatoes of things. During the week, we'll do like immediate communication, but let them know that's their time. If they want to do it face-to-face, office, Zoom, that's fine. And in regards to the process of doing the due diligence, I'm familiar with a lot of the lenders in my market, even though I've got a lot of people that are coming from external, where they've got lenders, nationwide lenders. That's something that you do have to pay attention to as a listing agent. And when I see new lenders pop up, I just have a conversation because you can never tell.
So important that you just
So
they even know what they wrote.
Right.
Lending, and then what I'm looking for from the buyer's agent, do you know your client? Because I'm going to research your client. So what does your client do? They're an essential worker. Can you tell me something? Oh, actually, they just called me off a Zillow call and I just showed them a property. Okay, great. How many properties do you show them? If you can't tell me that that was your client and you've done work as a real estate agent, not to say that I discriminate, but I relay that information onto my client to say, this is what the situation is, so you're aware. So give your client information.
You're all doing a fabulous job.
Thank you.
I mean,
Thanks.
we're proud and grateful to be in business with agents like you.
Yeah.
I think you're hard to find.
Yeah.
And
Thanks.
Carl's done a really good job of putting together a great community of agents.
Yes.
Thank you guys so much for joining us today. If you see them, say hello. I'm sure they wouldn't mind a phone call or a text, just thanking them for all the information.
Yep. Bye.
Thank you guys so much.
Okay.